Hey guys, so this is going to be part 2 of the Protoss tutorial. Hopefully last week you guys really practiced the macro. Yeah, that's kind of the main thing I'd recommend right now. As I said last week, the macro is super important, so focus really hard on that. Kind of practice what we went over. If you're not feeling super confident yet in your basic macro that we went over, I would focus more on that before we do this next part. Even if you're losing games, just macroing and not really knowing how to adjust to the situation, that's totally fine. The macro is going to carry you through a lot more when it's strong than, properly playing, at least when you're pubbing. So today we're going to go over, how to open and, when to tech and that kind of thing, and just how to respond to a few situations. I got 3 different games that we're going to do kind of a watch-along on. One of them's going to be where I go fast goon. The other one will be 2-gate into tech, and another one will be 3-gate. So we're going to go over basically the 3 different openers you can do, and I'll explain why and what the situation is. We're just going to watch the games. I'll skip through parts of it obviously, but I'll give you the general idea of why I made the decisions I made to maybe help you guys kind of understand when it's time to tech, when it's time to expand, that kind of thing. So the first game we're going to go over is the game where I go 2-gate into tech. Sorry, we'll go back. So as you can see, we're against 3 randoms right now. So when you're against randoms, you typically don't want to just blindly fast goon. It's really, really dangerous because if you're against 2 Zergs and you go fast goon, you kind of just lose the game. You're useless to your team. So this game, my 1 o'clock teammate, Purple, is not very good. I'm sharing choke with Protoss. So he's not 9 pulling. We don't know they're racist. So here, I don't want to go fast goon. It's just bad. So we spot 1 Terran. We spot a Zerg at 9 o'clock. And then he continues scouting here. And we just go straight into 2-gate, right? So we're just 2-gate, basic Zealot. Our teammate's doing the same at our choke. We see that it's 2 Terran and 1 Zerg. So 2 Terran, 1 Zerg. Goons are good, obviously, against the double Terran. But it's dangerous against the Zerg knowing that my Zerg teammate's not very good. So because of that, I have to stick to Zealot. Both are bio, so Zealot's a little bit better here than it would normally be. Zealot against mech is awful. If they were going Vulture, I would have to be well, it sucks, but I'm going to have to try and get tech because you cannot go Zealot against Vulture. Because it's double bio, I can skip cannons early, and I can go into goons here. So the reason I'm going goons here is because their Zerg did not 9-pull, so we don't have to worry about not having too much map control here in the beginning. And my teammate on my choke is going Zealot, so I'll still continue some Zealot production while going into goons, because if I just go hard into goons, I'm relying on my teammate too much. So I'll be mixing in Zealots as we fight as well. And I'll also quickly go over the Dragoon build, the 1-gate goon build. I'll do it when we get to that game. So here we're kind of fighting mid, we're just trading. Right here, what I do, so the reason I go for this and ignore the Lings, well, obviously Marine DPS is really high, Marines are also very fragile. But the reason this is really important right now is because if we fight at our choke and we're Goon Zealot, Marine DPS is much, much higher than Goons. So even though we'll chew through the Lings pretty quickly, the Marine DPS will also chew through our Zealots really quickly. So it's more important that I get the Marines here with my teammate going Zealots, even though the Lings are better against the Goons. And you can trade pretty well. You'll see I micro, I pick off quite a few here, and then I even leave with some after, because I can't afford to commit here. I still need the Zealots to tank the Lings after. So my teammate traded against some Lings, I traded against the Marines. So here I'm feeling relatively confident in the Goons, because we did trade pretty well there. They also go for my teammate at 1 o'clock, which is pretty convenient for us. We did set up a flank, so it would have been a bit dangerous. I did have some Zealots to tank for my goons, and my teammate had moved his Zealots here to the left of the choke, right? So they couldn't really safely go us, they would get flanked. And also assuming Purple sent units, it would basically be a three-way flank, so it would be pretty bad for them. Here what I do is I don't go to help my teammate because I'm getting good trades here. They're rallying to my teammate, right? And if I go him, there's a risk of me getting countered by the Lings. So I'm going to let them handle it while I continue to get good trades here. I'm basically trading. Well, it's not even trading. I'm picking off units for free while my army is building up, so this will help me scale into the fights later. I think I lose 1 zealot here, right? So I lose 1 zealot after killing all of these units. So my army is just getting bigger and bigger, getting a trade while they're like fighting with my teammate. Basically 2v2 at this point because I've been cutting off reinforcements. So I'm just picking off everything I can, getting good trades. And also, so here I start kind of glossed over this. So as they start killing my teammate and I'm getting good trades, now that I know I'm personally not in danger, I immediately start my tech towards Templar. Against double bio, High Templar is going to be extremely powerful. So I start working towards that tech while getting these trades. So I know because I'm trading well, essentially for free, and they're hitting my teammate, I'm not in danger, so I can go into a better composition against what they are doing. I start moving towards an expansion here. I actually end up losing this because I did something I shouldn't have done, which is I actually try to help my teammate at 1 o'clock when they hit him. And I ended up losing my expansion. I should have moved towards middle actually and picked off more units. So here I'm just looking for units to pick off. So like anything is good. Obviously like just free pickoffs here. I start going into zealot production now. Once my leg speed's on the way, I have enough goons. Obviously, like I said, the zealots are really bad against bio, but they're going to be really good against the Ling. We have Templar tech coming in like closely to this, so that can help deal with the bio. But here's where I make my mistake. I start moving towards my teammate, even though I know there's a lot of Ling that can come. And I lose position on my choke. If I held position on my choke, I keep this expansion. So that was a mistake that I made. So I lose my expansion. I actually get not a very good trade here. Our teammate trolls us a bit. But we still do trade-off for the army while I'm getting good tech, right? So we're just using our goons to pick off kind of what we can. We're keeping... The reason I'm sending my marines or my zealots in here is just because I need the tankage for my goons, especially if Lings come. I think I went to +1 attack as well. I didn't check that, but... Yeah, I dropped the Forge to start upgrades as well because, especially against Zerg, one big thing is if you can get the +1 on your zealots, then they start 2-hitting Zerglings, which is a massive difference. So I got double Forge here because we're going to be in for a bit of a long game. I've got a tech advantage, like a composition advantage coming out soon. And I've been trading like relatively well. But here come my Templar, so I know like I'm going to trade well. My teammate got Reavers, so he did a bunch of damage to 9. This also makes it way, way easier for me because if I don't have to worry about Lings, life gets really, really easy for me. So now I re-expand, and I know I can hold this because I have the Templar tech. My teammate has the Reaver doing a bunch of damage. They go to help 9 o'clock, and as soon as they go to help 9, I push out, right? So they go to help their teammate. I have a good unit set against what they have, so they're going to have to walk into me with my storms coming up from behind if they try to help themselves. And I go for this counterattack. They can't really counter me, right? Because my teammate, he still built up his army. I have my rallies and stuff. So I know I'm not worried. Like, I'm not worried about getting countered here. They're going to be worried about saving their teammate. I think I end up not even having to storm anything. Ironically, there just ends up not being much to storm. Like, all other army is mid, so there's not much for me to storm. Got my expansion up and running because we're being aggressive, so they can't really do much to counterattack or really get on the offensive themselves. Set up a couple of cannons, and we're just getting like really good trading here. And the game actually ends. He ends up countering red here as well. This is a bit of a breakdown of like how I would play 2-gate into tech in a situation like this. It's a little bit different because we're not against any Protosses, but like Templar is always good, but when you're not against Protoss, it's very, very powerful, especially against bio. Every game's gonna play it a little bit different, so I'll just be doing my best to kind of break down game to game, and you can kind of get an idea of like how to process things. And maybe make those adjustments in your own games. Okay, so the next game is gonna be, I actually go goons here. I see Protoss, Zerg, and random. Going fast goon can always be dangerous, especially if you're pubbing. So it's like really, really situational, but it can be obviously very good in the right scenario. So here I have double Zerg, and they're both going to go 9 pull. So I say that I'll go fast goon. So the build for fast goon is going to be your typical pylon and a gateway, and then your next 100 gas will go into your assimilator. So it's just one pylon, one gate, gas as soon as you get 100. I got a little bit distracted there even. Or actually no, I think I decided that's what it was. I decided late that I was going to fast goon. That's why I wasn't quite ready for it. Because I was worried about potentially 2 Zerg, but with me having 2 Zerg allies that go 9 pool, and me knowing they have 1 Protoss, like, it's a little bit iffy. But I kind of play a little bit of a risk here. And the reason it's iffy is because if it's double Zerg Protoss, then essentially it's going to be double 9 pool versus double 9 pool, so they match my team there. But then the Zealots can really tilt that pretty massively. So sorry, back to the build. So it's going to be gas as soon as you get 100, and then you continue pro production. You don't make any more buildings until Cyber Core at 200. Then I go pylon next, so that I can continue pro production. And then you just kind of play it from there. It's going to be range, and then goon. Sometimes goon before range, depends on the situation. If you need the goon like now, then make the goon before range. Otherwise, it's typically better to get the range first because it's going to trade better. They're also just much easier to micro. So I start my goon here just in case we end up needing it, because I'm a little bit nervous about the matchup. I still don't think we even know the other guy's Terran. So my next 150 gas I end up putting into the range before my next goon. Okay, and I'll just break down the game from here. So that's kind of basically the opener. I go over here to pick off an Overlord because whenever someone's 9 pulling, if you're killing Overlords, it is making a massive difference. Like, it can really, really screw them over. So my team has map control, so I'm not real pressured to get out to the fight right now. Like, killing the Overlord's a pretty big jump. There are a lot of Lings on the map right now, so I actually don't go to engage this. My 2 goons are not going to contribute to this very much yet. And if I end up pulling Lings into me, I can easily lose all of my goons. So I'm kind of pulling back here. I was like playing on the outside a little bit just in case, but it was actually really dangerous because I could have had those goons picked off. So me positioning there was really, really iffy. So here's a big moment for when you're going goons. So the Lings are basically always going to be the threat to your goons. And when I see my team clear off these Lings and the guy at open 9 pool, I know that I'm like pretty much in the clear. Like, I don't have to worry about Lings anymore, so I'm mostly worried about the Protoss, and I still don't even know. I guess at this point we can kind of safely assume that it's Terran because he hasn't done anything, and then there's the Vultures, right? I don't even know if we actually scouted at that point, but yeah. But without seeing anything for that long, we already know. So here I start my kiting. We start picking off units. Just whatever damage we can get. We'll start trading really well now because I have a pretty good goon count. I say Overlords to mid because there are going to be mines in the middle now, and they don't have anti-air, so the Overlords are safe. So what I do here, I do this because we've reset the Ling count twice. My goon count, I haven't lost any goons yet. I picked off an Overlord, I go to pick off another Overlord, and I know that he's not going to have enough Lings to flood me at this point because we've just recently cleared Lings, and he's been on 9 pool, so his eco is going to be pretty low, so I don't have to worry about getting overwhelmed by Lings at this point. My teammate does take a lot of damage here from the Vultures. It's not a whole lot I could do about it at that point. If I went right side to cover for Vultures, I also could have been counterattacked by Lings, which is a pain, but I do send him a couple goons while I'm doing this. Just get a position here to get more trading. Lings coming in from white. So he takes a bunch of damage here, but that's okay. Like, seeing the Vultures die there, I know I'm safe. And we're gonna do like more damage to the Zerg here. I picked off 3 Overlords this game now, and we've reset Ling count, so I know he's in danger. But the Vulture's countering, and there's just not gonna be much to show up to help him. So as we're doing damage there, I drop my Forge. I want Forge for 2 reasons. Upgrades, obviously, and then cannons in case of DT. In this case, I kind of knew we weren't going to have to worry about DT too quickly. I do have multiple Zerg allies, and I should have asked them for Overlords, but I didn't. Walk into the mine there is pretty good. I actually have one not mining gas. I finally check it there when I realize I'm out of gas. And I moved to expand here. The reason I moved to expand, the reason this is a good expansion timing, we just killed a Zerg, right? More or less. Our teammate took a bunch of damage, but he cleared out the vultures. And then I saw them send help to blue, and we got a good trade at blue. So I have a good Dragoon count, and we've killed the threat to my goons, the Zergling. So it's only going to be like Zealots and Mech, mostly vultures at this point. And I still have one Zerg teammate that's untouched. So because we've taken good trades, we've killed one, and we've reset a lot of army, I know I'm 100% in the clear to expand here. I've got upgrades coming now, and I start working towards my expansion. And the other reason this is good is because we also have no kill pressure. We're not going to be able to walk through to their choke, through all the mines and everything, and kill them at this point. It would take a long time to like move the overlords through everything, and they'd have siege tanks and all that stuff by then. So I'm just fighting in mid to try and get trades here. I think I don't overchase here. Like, yeah, I'm just looking to pick off some stuff here. While I'm getting ready to expand. I think because of all the fighting, I delay my expansion a bit. And then I see vultures went to red. I started a wall off in case the vultures are coming to me, and I needed to choke it off. But they went to red here. I'll probably shoot up to make my expansion here soon. I think I moved to finish blue. Yeah. So we chased brown off. We saw the vultures die at red. Even though red took more damage, I know that I'm safe. So drop the expansion, we're good. And then I just go to finish the Zerg. So Zerg is finished here. Yeah, we trade against more army here. I think white dies. This is like my most recent video, but I really don't fully remember everything. I'm just taking out some buildings here to make sure he's not really going to be a threat again for a while, if ever. Do my probe transfer. Got my observers out. We're just trading here. I do have a siege tank shooting me, but I'm going to move away from the tank and just trade as much as we can. Trading is really important because not only obviously you're killing army, but it means your team is going to be a little bit safer. Like I'm at risk of getting contained at this point, so I want to pressure them and kill as much as I can. This is pretty dangerous by me though. I think do I lose this? I probably lose these. Or at least I pick away at it a lot. I lose a lot. But I'm not too worried about getting hit myself. Like I have a decent army and I can choke this off. And I have essentially a good army against what they have. Goons aren't they're not that great. Oh yeah, see I get flanked here. So I end up losing all this. This is actually kind of iffy. It's a little bit too aggressive by me. I should have gone left instead of right. I even saw the Zerglings go up the right side, I'm pretty sure, so that was really bad movement by me. Just dumb movement. But on the plus side, like, I still don't feel like I'm in a lot of danger. I'm just worried about my team. And I think red holds here. But I can't push out now because of mid very easily, and my macro is getting going. So we kind of just let white die at this point, while I continue to work on my macro and build up. Get all my tech and stuff going. Leg speed's really late at this point. So this is one of those moments where having me as a teammate's not that great. I let white die because letting him die is part of my win condition here. Like, they're focused on him, and it gives me a lot of time to just do whatever I want. And he goes really, really strong, so I just get really big, and then while they're doing the push, I just trade off against this, right? So kill these two tanks. Opens me up to start going mid. Essentially a free trade. And I'm just getting huge while they're killing my teammate. I don't take my natural expansion because Terran can ridge it there. The top left expansion is just better anyway, but yeah, that's why I don't take the natural. So I got a big army going here. Sorry, Stig. I'm a bad teammate, I know. And I'm just setting up to kind of start overwhelming mid here. So we start going mid. Kill it all off. From here is just straightforward macro. Honestly, it's maybe not. Yeah, we don't need to watch the rest of this. It's just straightforward macro. I let myself get big. I got good tech. I got decent upgrades, I believe. And then I just macro really, really well from here. The reason I had to let white die, just to reiterate, is I didn't have enough, right? Like, my army was still pretty small. My macro was just starting to kick in. And pushing out with a little, like, I know it's hard sometimes not to want to panic and you like want to save your teammate, especially if they're like complaining and getting upset at you. But you need to understand that essentially the bigger your army is when you fight, the better the trade is going to be, right? If I pushed out with what I had and started macroing, like rallying out my macro from there, it would just be really bad trades into a small amount of army while they're killing my teammate. I probably wouldn't, like, not even probably, I wouldn't have been able to save him anyway. So it's better to just get your tech and your army big enough that you'll trade well. And because I did that, that's why I was able to overwhelm. If I had just been sending out bits by bits, then I just would have been losing everything. So that's pretty much it for that one. And then the last one we'll go over is me 3-gating. I didn't fully watch this video. I just saw my opener and I can explain why. So here I have a Zerg and a Terran. And actually, did I see what were races? There's Zerg, Protoss, random. Okay, 2 random Protoss. I don't even know if I saw them swap then. Okay, I check here. So we're good. So here I check what the matchup is. So it's Protoss and 2 random. So just our typical standard opener here. I go 2-gate. I see the Zerg, so now I know we're against 1 Zerg, 1 Protoss, and the Zerg is up above me. And then 1 more random. So we scout the Zerg, saw that he wasn't 9 pool. Yeah. Which we could kind of assume at that point because it was long enough. And then there we see Protoss. So we're against 2 Protoss and a Zerg. My Zerg teammate is going Ling. Against Protoss, like, Dragoon is good, but in the beginning, before you have a decent Dragoon count, it's kind of tough. In my situation, so I have a Protoss below me, a Zerg above me, and then the other Protoss is at 12. So this is tough, like, not even tough. It's almost impossible to go Goon here because positioning, like, puts me under fire. My teammate at 9 o'clock is Terran. They're typically not going to attack into a Terran, especially since he's got a wall. So I know I'm going to be the target here. And because I know I'm going to be the target, and it's 2 Protoss against me, and then they have a Zerg to cancel my Zerg, I have to go 3-gate here. The other reason this is okay is because my teammate is going... well, my teammate's Terran, so Terran scales really well into mid-game, so the important part is just kind of surviving. So I go 3-gate. I did get supply blocked a lot because of me being under attack, and I lost a pylon. So that wasn't too great. But we're just under pressure, we're fighting, right? Keeping our macro going as best we can. Another supply block because of another dead pylon. And I'm going 4-gate because I'm floating so much. The only reason I'm 4-gate here, like, this is not really a build. The only reason I'm 4-gate is because I'm floating so much from losing pylons and getting supply blocked from it. But yeah, this kind of, like, quickly breaks down, like, a situation where you would go 3-gate. It's just when you're under pressure. Like, if you're in a situation where you getting attacked means you're not going to be able to get much help, or you're in position to get attacked over and over again, you need to go 3-gate to stay alive. And, like, consider your team and stuff like that, and if they're being able to hold enemies. We didn't really go over that much, I guess. We didn't go over, like, positioning as far as if you have teammates that are able to hold opponents, then it kind of changes things. But yeah, just the basic thought process there would just be that if you have a teammate that is going the same thing as an opponent, or they're, like, holding them, say they go cannons or something like that, then you can yeah, just count them as being held back, essentially, and play accordingly. So I end up going leg speed here because there's no point in me going Dragoons with the top right Zerg going Ling, like mass Ling. At this point, we can kind of assume he's mass Ling. Like, this is 3 or 4 hatch Ling. And he's making so many Lings since the beginning that I'm not too worried about him going Muta, so that's why I'm pretty wide open. That's the kind of thing we'll maybe talk about next week, is, like, how to read what your opponent is doing. Might be a good one. But I go legs here, go +1 attack because of the mass Ling, because we're against Goon and Ling, so there's no point in me going Dragoon. It would just be terrible here. Anyway, I guess that'll pretty much do it for today. yeah, just kind of went over the 3 different like basic builds for macro builds in BGH. If you have any questions, let me know below. If there's anything else you would like me to expand on or maybe include in the next one, let me know. I can either respond to you if it's like a quick, easy answer, or I'll add it to my list of videos to make. But I think that'll do it for today. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.